All right, so I'm here on the Blue Ridge Parkway at the Punchbowl Mountain Overlook, which is behind me here. I'm getting ready to start on the AT, which is over there. I'm going to hike from here on the parkway down. The goal is to go down to the James River. Hike, run, trail run, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to get there and I'm going to set a decent pace while doing so. I didn't get here terribly early. It's about 11 o'clock, which is a later start than I kind of wanted, but that's okay. Temperature probably in the mid 70s, pushing close to 80 something. It's probably going to be humid. It's probably going to get pretty humid. It's 4th of July, so it's the time of year for that stuff. But I'll probably have pretty good shade through most of it. Yeah, so I guess that's it. Let me show you on the map here what we're doing. So Punchbowl Shelter, right up here. This red line is the parkway. So this is where I'm parked right now. So I'm gonna head from here. I'm gonna go all the way down, and we're gonna cut down this mountain here, down to the James River at the intersection of 130. I think it's about 10.5 miles, somewhere in that ballpark. I've never gone that far, but I think it's very doable. If something happens and I can't finish it for whatever reason, I've got this out here at the Saltlog Gap trail. I'm not sure how long this trail is, but I reckon it's probably about 1.5 miles or so. It's about 5 miles in. So if I get there and, you know, I can just tell this ain't gonna happen, I can cut down from there over to Hercules Road, or I can have somebody pick me up and take me back up here to my vehicle. Although it's 10 miles, I think the elevation's not too bad. If we look down here on our legend, let's see, Punchbowl Shelter right here. So I'm starting at the parkway. We got a bit of a climb up Punchbowl Mountain. I knew this is pretty steep. This is pretty notoriously steep. Looks like I got a bit of a climb to Bluff Mountain. I don't really know this area, so I don't know what that's going to be like, but I don't know. It's about 500 feet. I think each one of these notches is 500 feet in elevation. So it looks like a bit of a climb. But after I get up Bluff Mountain, it's mostly going to be, you know, some ridge lines and some pacing downhill all the way down here where the river's at. So I don't think it's going to be too bad. But hey, maybe maybe I'll learn otherwise. So yeah, I guess I'm going to get going. Okay. Well, I made it to what I believe is the summit of Bluff Mountain. It took me about 34 minutes. I think that's pretty good pace. I think I went 1.75 miles, somewhere in that ballpark. I have been here. I remember this. See, there's these outcroppings of a structure that used to be up here. Seems I remember being up here one time, like in the winter, and it was very cold, and the wind just crested over this mountain. And I was in the Boy Scouts then, and we huddled around these concrete structures. Looking behind me here, we're looking, this is towards Amherst County. I recognize some of it's very hazy today. I recognize some of these mountains, but not all. I think back over here, right where the trees are, over this way, is Coal Mountain. Coal Mountain's got to be over that way, in Mount Pleasant, I think. I'm not sure what these other ones are in the distance. The Lynchburg Reservoir has got to also be right down here somewhere. I don't really want to pull out my map, so I'm not going to. This is just going to be a short stop. So let's see, that's looking kind of northeasterly towards Amherst and Amherst County. Over this way, much prettier view. We're looking west. Here-ish, it's hard to tell. I don't know how much you can make out. Buena Vista, I'm pretty sure that's Buena Vista right down there. Which tells me there's a crag down over that way. There's a road that comes up through here and connects up on the parkway, up a little south of the junction of 60 and the parkway. It's a road called Robinson Gap, I think. This is an interesting view. I don't often see this view of Buena Vista. Look at these sharp, jaggedy ridges right along here. Hopefully you can make that out and see those. It's kind of interesting. We have these real pretty fir trees. I don't know. What's the word for them thing? Deciduous trees? Ones that don't lose their foliage. I don't know what they're called. I think they look real pretty. Very different. You know, a lot of times around here we have oaks and ash trees and things like that. Some maples and some poplar groves. But, and those whatever scraggly pine trees we get. But not a lot of these kinds of firs. I just think it's just a neat change of pace. What else do we have? What else can we see? That's Buena Vista. And that must mean over here where this kind of gap in the mountains is, that must be where Lexington's at. I know Lexington is right. Lexington's got a funny mountain right there by it on the, I guess it's past Lexington, but on the southern side of 64. It's a very square mountain. Like if you look at it from the top on a map, it's very square. It has like corners, which is different. And it also has a very steep crag right in the middle of it. So it's like two summits, but one mountain. Kind of different. It's like the peaks if you just squish them really close together. But yeah, I think I'm going to keep moving. But so far, so good. What a beautiful day. All right, hello again. I'm here at the Saltlog Gap Trail. This was my emergency, like if I needed to cut it short, I would have taken this to go down to Hercules Road. Apparently that hike that I thought was like a mile to, it's about 4 miles. So I think I'm looking at my trail log. I'm about, I think 3 miles into the 10 mile. I've been going for, just about an hour now. I think it's time to take a break and get a little something, get a little food in me. Still beautiful. Still a beautiful morning. It's maybe 70 out here. I want to take some, just show you this area. I always liked these parts of the Appalachian Trail. So you can kind of see behind me, I think, we have lots of really tall trees. I mean, these things they've been around. I'm not keen-eyed enough to be able to tell quite what these are. Some sort of a beech tree. No, not beech. Ash. There's some poplars. I definitely see some tulip poplars in here. This might be some kind of oak. I don't know. We have so many oaks around here. But I find it really interesting because there's a thick underbrush. You can kind of see it's this stuff. Now this stuff right here has been cut, and the trail it's in pretty good shape for this time of year. A lot of times it'll get overgrown, but clearly the folks who maintain this portion of the AT have been through not long ago and cleared it. So that's great. But it's really interesting because you can see like really clearly through here. There's not a lot of brambles and briars and underbrush and stuff like that you run into in some of these other places. You know, I wouldn't want to walk through this stuff, but it would be better than some other things. I bet in the winter this feels very open as all this stuff I'm sure dies off. One of the strongest memories I have from hiking in the Boy Scouts was hiking through a section like this, where there was this kind of a growth. It wasn't this plant. It's we always called it stickweed. I don't know what the actual name of the stuff is, but it's just a weed that grows really thickly. But it was growing real thick patches like this. But it was about, I was a kid at the time. It was about my height or a little bit taller. And it had grown into the trail, which is not uncommon. And I remember you could not see the person walking in front of you. They could be, you know, 5 feet in front of you, but you couldn't see them because that brush was so tall and so thick. You could see where they had been because the stuff was moving, but you couldn't actually see the person. And it was around this time of year, maybe a little later in July. It was very hot, and stuck in those weeds, you were just smothering. You were just smothering under that humid, hot air. And I remember we were on a ridge line. I think this was around Tar Jacket Ridge. We were on a ridge line. There weren't a lot of trees on the top of that ridge line. Some ridges, depending on where they are, the wind comes over and just trees don't grow on them because they just split when they get to a certain height. And so it was very open. And so you got sun up above you and you're just surrounded by weeds. But we were hiking and we came through, and all of a sudden the weeds, they broke like a wave in the sea. It was just, you know, this big, thick plume of weeds that had come up, and then all of a sudden there was none. It was just kind of strange. And that's when we saw them. It was the fellers who were maintaining that portion of the AT. They had big leather chaps on, leather apron and chaps. And then I don't know quite what the term is for them. It's the big weed whackers that have the 2 handles on them. You know, like a big old still weed whacker with a blade on it that you can cut down brush with. They had those things. They were just going through and cutting away and clearing out the trail. But it was just so bizarre because here these guys, I'm sure they were drenched in sweat because of how hot it was. And then they had all those leather chaps on, I think, just, you know, because you're going through all the weeds and the brush and the briars and all that stuff. It's better to just, you know, deal with the sweating and stay hydrated than it is to get yourself all cut up. So anyway, I'm gonna eat a little something and then get back on the trail. All right, time for another break. I'm about 1 hour and 40 into it. I don't know how far I've come. I could do the math, but I don't want to. I find that I get very single-minded when I do stuff like this. And right now I'm in run-in mode, watching the ground, watching the things around me. And I also I like to listen to audiobooks when I do this kind of thing. Kind of helps the time to pass, keeps me going, keeps my mind off of constantly thinking how far I've gone. Because that's the real struggle, is in your mind. I'm here at Big Rocky Row. At least I'm pretty sure this is Big Rocky Row. I've been here before. I came up here day after Christmas a couple years back. Hiked up here with my buddy Matt. We came in, we took a different route in. There's a side trail that joins the AT. We went that way. I'm not going to take that out. I'm actually going to take the AT. Buzzard flying by. So I got, this is the summit. I mean, I'm not at the highest elevation, but it's all downhill from here. There's really no more climbing of any sort. I'll go down, well, I'll show you the map. I'll show you on the map in a minute. We're looking out Amherst County. Back around, again, I don't know how well this camera picks it up. We've got the James Rivers down here, along with the bridge right there to Big Island. At least I think that, no, that's the 501 bridge. I'm headed probably further down, right around here-ish, down by the river to the James River Footbridge on 130. I can't quite see that, and I don't think that's it. I think that's the new bridge where 501 crosses. We've got, oh goodness, I know some of the names of those mountains. No Business Mountains over there. Just kind of on the other side of those mountains is where Lynchburg is at. Way off in the distance, you can just barely make out Candler's Mountain and Jack Mountain and the monogram over there. Up this way is Tobacco Row Mountain and Ware's Gap and some of those things. This area here, I didn't know this last time I was up here, but this area down in here, this valley, Hercules Road is what the road down there is called. You can't see the road at all. I've camped down in there before. Beautiful place to camp. You can kind of make out over yonder there. There's some what looks like quarry work that's been done. There used to be a brick factory, Old Dominion Brick Factory. I think it had several names. I think that was the last name before it closed. That was back in there, and they made all sorts of bricks. This area is called Snowden. It's you know, part of Amherst County, just on the north side of the James River. We're right over this way, headed west, is Rockbridge. I think I'm right on the county line. I believe the AT kind of follows the border right there. Not much else to say. I guess back over this way, I should say, we got Highcock Knobs over there. Thunder Ridge. You can see the park, well, I can see, you probably can't see. I can see where the parkway is cut into the mountain in a few places. Now I can just barely make out the radar dome on the top of Apple Orchard Mountain. So Roanoke would be just all far on the other side of that. The peaks, well, I guess Bedford is really, Roanoke's down that way too, but further. Peaks are way down over here. We can't really see them because of the tree coverage. Oh, let's take a look here on the map. I'm right here, Big Rocky Row. So I'm going to come from here, go down to Fuller's Rock, and then it's all pretty steep downhill through here, down to the James River Footbridge. Oh, I'm sweating on my map. That's disgusting. You can see right here, here's where I started. That last update I gave you, I think was at, I think that was at Saltlog Gap. I mixed up. I didn't realize Saddle and Saltlog Gap are, you know, they're both things. Right now we're here at Big Rocky Road. This is what I was talking about. Pretty much all downhill. Got a slight incline here, but I mean, really, we're going all the way down to here. So we're going to drop, what's that, these 500s? I think these are increments of 500. So that'd be 1,000. We got about 2,500 feet that we're going to drop. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm just stopping for a few minutes, eating some carrots. It's been interesting. This is the longest I've run. My lower back is really killing me. I don't quite know why. It feels just really tight, so it's a little bit of a challenge. I feel pretty hydrated. I think I still have plenty of water. I've got a water filter if I need it. I can filter some more. But did have a really rolled my ankle pretty good a little ways back. That kind where you like roll it and get a little bit of a pop. It kind of feels like you know, like when you jam a finger, it's stiff and you don't want to move all that great. But yeah, it hasn't really impeded me too much. It's probably going to hurt later though. It feels like one of those. So well, that's not great, but I'll make do. No falls yet, thankfully. Usually I'm sure I've got at least one in me. I always seem to fall at least one time. So hopefully that's not too bad. All right, well, I'm gonna keep on. I'm gonna finish my carrot and then keep on moving. All right, I am 2 hours and 40 minutes in. Man, sweat is rolling into my eyes and it's salty and it's bad. I am off at John's Hollow Shelter, which is maybe 1/10 of a mile off the AT. Not far at all. Shelter's actually back that way. What I've done, there's a group of folks up there. Looks like they're enjoying their 4th of July weekend camping. I have walked, I don't know, a little ways upstream. This is, I believe, Big Rocky Run. It's the name of this creek. I've drank from this creek before, although further down. I'm going to show you how I filter water. So I have a water bottle with an inline filter. This will hold a liter, and I only have maybe a mile left or so. That's more than enough water. But I did run dry, so I do want to filter some. Normally I carry a pump filter, which you kind of like you throw one end in the creek and you use a pump to force the water through the filtering mechanism. I don't have that with me today. That's a little overkill. It's great when you're camping and filtering a lot of water, but in this case I'm not filtering a lot. And this bottle, very lightweight. So what I've done, I've come up creek a little ways, just because you want to be away from the people. There's also a latrine there, permanent latrine. Go upstream from the latrine. It's just common sense. What I've got here, it's a pretty small creek. I'm going to try and put this on my head and show you exactly how this works. But what I look for is I look for a place where the water's moving pretty quick. I found a little place here. It's, you know, not overly silty or anything like that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this bottle, I'm going to try and take this bottle and just skim off the top. That's why you want to find moving water, because a lot of that sediment and stuff will fall down to the bottom. It'll be moving, but down lower. So you just kind of want to skim off the top and get what you can. And then the way this bottle works, you don't, it's, you know, soft, but you don't squeeze it, you'll burst it. Instead, you invert it and drink out of it, which is kind of a pain, but water is better than no water. So, all right, I'm gonna put this on my sweaty head. Let's see how this works. I hope you can see. Okay. All right. Yeah, this will probably work. So there's the actual filter. We're gonna try and keep that as clean as we can. I'm just gonna dip this in the water, just skimming off the top. You can let the rest of the bottle go. Don't drink the water on the outside of the bottle. And looks like it's full. There you go. So I mean, we look in there, that water is not crystal clear. Don't expect it to be. This is a creek. But like I said, having water beats not having water. So now I'll take this thing up and see if I can film myself doing this. It's gonna be tricky one-handed. Oh yeah, this is gonna be tricky one-handed. So the water comes out. Doesn't come out fast. This filter will filter out bacteria, filter out some of the silt and stuff like that as well. The water definitely has a bit of a metallic-y taste. That's pretty common. We got a lot of iron around here, so the iron tends to get in the water. It ain't gonna hurt you. Yeah, so that's how I filter water. All right. Hello, everyone. Well, I finished. I did it. Final mileage total was 10.9 miles, and it took me 3 hours and 15 minutes to do it. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm pretty exhausted. My legs are pretty sore. I'm at I'm at 130 at the 130 bridge, but I've hiked back in the woods a little bit because it's a lot cooler. Waiting for some folks to come and pick me up and take me back to where my vehicle's at. So, but yeah, it was a good hike. Not too terrible. Definitely a challenge, but I enjoy challenges. So, thank you for watching. Okay, unplanned update. So, I'm waiting for my ride to come and pick me up. I decided to cross over the James River, head south just a little ways. There used to be an old trail that connected to a place. Anyway, I just kind of want to see if that trail was still there because I'm killing time at this point. And I get back in the woods and I hear the sound of water hitting rocks. It's like, oh, oh. And this side of the river, there's a lot of craggy rocks and rock face. You can kind of see some of it behind me. And sure enough, there's a stream here where the water's spurting out. So some of the best water you can drink, in my opinion, is the water that comes straight out of a rock. And that's kind of what we've got going on over here. I don't know how well you can see, but we got a place where the water is just, it's not spurting out, it's spurting out further up and then just kind of trickling down here. And it's, you know, it's mossy covered and stuff like that, but you run it through a filter. I'm not going to just drink it straight. And I'll get some of that water. That stuff, I haven't had any yet, but man, is it cold. It's probably a good, like 50, 40, 50 degrees. It's pretty stinking cold, especially compared to that creek water. So I was happy to see that. It's always good to have good water. I did get up here, which I kind of regret doing now because I could go back down there. And I'm realizing getting up was the easy part. Going back down ain't gonna be as easy, but I got plenty of time. I'll take it slow. And I found a quarter. Not up here. That was down by the road. It's what state is it? Can't tell. It's got a bird on it. 2018. Block Island? That ain't a state. Alright. Thanks for watching.